All right, so there's this huge battle brewing in the real estate world. It's starting out in Washington state, but trust me, it could totally change how all of us buy and sell our homes. This whole thing is really a fight over information, over control, and, well, what a fair market even means.
And really, when you get right down to it, the entire debate comes down to one simple question. When you go to sell your house, should you tell absolutely everyone at the exact same time, or do you maybe tell just a select few first? The answer, as it turns out, is a lot more controversial than you'd think. Okay, so to really wrap our heads around what this fight is all about, we've got to understand the two basic ways you can even sell a house. So on one side, you've got your classic public MLS listing. Think of the MLS, that's the multiple listing service, as kind of like the central brain of real estate, right? It's what feeds all the info to every agent and to all those websites you scroll through, like Zillow. It's totally public. But then on the other side, you have these private listing networks. You might have heard them called pocket listings. These are marketed completely behind closed doors to a very specific list of agents or buyers. They never hit the public market. And this is where the drama really kicks in. There's a new bill in Washington that's looking to completely shake up this private system. It could force all of those exclusive, behind-the-scenes listings right out into the open for everybody to see. All right, so let's start by looking at the side that's pushing for this change. Why are some of the biggest names in the business trying to make all listings public?
So the main argument is coming from groups like Washington Realtors. Their president, Ryan Beckett, basically said, and this is a quote, that they see these private networks as a threat to the transparent marketplace. The idea here is that all this secrecy, well, it doesn't really help the average person buying or selling a house. And it might even be a step backwards for things like fair housing.
And when you really break down their argument, it all comes down to creating a level playing field. They're saying, look, if all listings are public, it means sellers get way more eyes on their property and probably more offers. It also means every single buyer gets a fair shot, and it keeps smaller real estate companies from getting locked out of the best deals. Okay, now this is a really important point. What the bill actually does. It's not a total ban on private listings. You can still use your private network. But the second you do, you also have to list that property publicly on the MLS. It's pretty much a you gotta do both or you can't do either kind of deal. But of course, there is another side to this whole thing. Let's dig into the arguments from the people who say that private listings are actually a super important tool for sellers. The charge against this bill is being led by the brokerage Compass, and they see this completely differently. A spokesperson for them called this a veiled attempt by the big players like the Northwest MLS and Zillow to hold on to their power. They're saying this isn't about protecting consumers at all. It's about crushing competition and taking away options from homeowners. And their whole case really centers on flexibility for the seller. They argue that a private listing lets you, test out a price without the whole world watching every move. It can protect the privacy of sellers who might be well known, and this is a big one, it lets you build up some buzz without racking up those public days on market stats, which can make a house look like it's been sitting forever. Plus, you avoid having to publicly announce a price drop online for everyone to see. So now that you've heard names like Zillow and Compass being thrown around, you've probably guessed this isn't just some friendly debate about rules. Nope. This is actually just the latest shot fired in a pretty intense corporate war. Yeah, check out this timeline. It really shows you how we got here. Back in April 2023, the Northwest MLS just cuts off Compass's data feed. Right away, Compass sues them, calling them a monopoly. Fast forward to today, and you see these pro-MLS groups pushing for this new bill, all while there's a huge jury trial between the two companies set for October. This whole thing definitely didn't just pop up out of nowhere. And it's not just the MLS. You have to ask, why does a company like Zillow care so much? Well, think about it. Their entire business is built on having all that public listing data from the MLS. Private networks are a direct threat to their whole model. So when you see them and other big players like Windmere Real Estate all getting behind this bill, you realize they're forming a pretty powerful team against this whole private listing idea. So after wading through all the corporate drama and the legal back and forth, what does this all really mean for the future of buying and selling a home? This chart really lays out the battle lines perfectly. You've got the establishment players, Washington Realtors, Zillow, Windermere, all talking about consumer protection and transparency. And then on the other side, you've got the disruptor, Compass, framing this as a fight for a homeowner's choice and their flexibility. It's like two totally different visions for how real estate should even work.
And this is the big takeaway. While all this is happening in Washington, you can bet everyone is watching. It's basically a test case for the rest of the country. The result here could absolutely set a new precedent, changing who controls real estate information and the very ways we sell our homes. Which really leaves us with one final thing to chew on. When we're talking about something as personal and as important as a home, what's the right way to do it? Should it be more like a public stock market where all the information is out there for everyone all at once? Or should there be room for private, exclusive deals, kind of like a high-end art auction? The answer is going to shape the market for a long, long time.